am hopeful that I don't lose you today. This is a bit of an abstract presentation. I shared it with my wife last night, and she was a little bit lost. But I'm confident that you will understand where I'm going with today's presentation. Musical pedagogy is this idea of using musical instruments to help students understand how to learn the content and apply different parameters to their life. This is Dr. Trevor Ngrorosha, Dr. Sherida Philip, and Dr. Loveness Ngorosha. They are my collaborators on this presentation. As you will see throughout this presentation, I have musical instruments here throughout the room. I want you to participate. Think about the Mbira. When you hear the Mbira, it represents the foundation of medical school curriculum. You'll hear that throughout the entire presentation. Think about biochemistry. Think about neuroscience. Think about MSK, musculoskeletal. These are the foundations of the curriculum that we offer at AUA, the American University of Antigua College of Medicine. So as you're thinking about these instruments, you're seeing me play the instruments, you're going to hear me also recite a poem, I want you to make the connection. The instruments, they represent learning strategies, and they also help you understand how to manage anxieties. How many students that you've experienced in your office that had struggles with anxiety? You can raise your hand, all right? Think about the Agogô as a tool that helps you to understand how to make notes, how to elaborate, how to practice or create multiple choice questions. When you hear the kashishi, I'm shaking it up. Active reading, dissect learning objectives, recall. That's what the kashishi represents in this presentation. Berimbau, the string instrument right here, it represents the idea of balance, the importance of being able to manage time and handle anxiety. Now, if you're familiar with Bloom's taxonomy, you know that it provides a structure for how we can understand the learning process. These are the outcomes that we're looking to produce in our students. When you see an instrument that's going to be on the video on the next slide, if you have an instrument near you, I want you to try and play along, okay? Think about these ideas. Remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, create, and analyze. Learning to learn. A poem inspired by Bloom's taxonomy, music, learning strategies, and movement. Strategy 1, remember, listen, listen, listen. Grab your notebooks and make notes. Don't just take notes. Swimmers don't just jump into the depths of the ocean, they start at the shore. Tread in the shallow end and slowly move beyond to the depths. They learn to master swimming first. From freestyle to butterfly, they practice the basics. They remember. It's like mountain climbers. They don't just start with the Himalayas mountains. They gather the fundamental skills and tools of the trade. They survey the terrain first. Similarly, learners must first learn how to learn before they venture into virtual and in-person classrooms. Without fundamentals, students might find themselves in savannas infested with failure lions. Mbira leads us through movement 1, strategy 1, to gather the foundation for learning medical content. In Zimbabwe, it guides celebrations. The meditative tone provides a backdrop for dissecting learning objectives and helping with retrieval. Are you here with me? Do you see the connection? Somebody has an Mbira in the audience. I want you to try and play along. Strategy 2, process, understand. Resume with active reading to explore basic concepts, principles, and facts. Global warming is not a myth. See evidence in the early arrival of Hurricane Beryl and the melting of Arctic polar caps. It's climate change. Patients' conditions will change. Future doctors need to understand this. Yes, they must transcend the coins from insurance claims. Listen to that. Transcend the coins. It's not about money. You gotta dig deep into cognitive, psychomotor, and affective domains. Dual coding, see pictures, read words, feel something, do something, exhaustively question, list, state, define, and precisely remember it all. But it's not enough to simply remember. You see, scholars, they fly. They fly to a higher level of learning when they embrace empathy and diversity. So seek to understand the curriculum and teach others, including grandma, what you have learned. Don't stop at the understand gates. Only fools in there. please don't stop. You have not arrived yet. Use the Agogô, an instrument from the circle of capoeira created by enslaved Africans in Brazil, and go into elaboration with your explanation. Strategy 3, apply. Fly higher and higher into the application sky, where your why and the strengths of your remember and understand wings are tested. Practice problem solving and create multiple choice questions. Apply the content to unlock problems with adjacent solutions. Simply remembering and understanding concepts, that's dead knowledge. Breathe life into the curriculum by solving theoretical and tangible problems. Fly and fly even higher by learning to analyze concepts and principles. Break them down until they scream for mercy. Put them together again, integrating them, interleaving them with old friends until they smile. From a circle between systems, from biochemistry to physiology, like the Pandeiro of this movement, there's a Pandeiro out there and it's circular just like the one on your screen, helps you to move into this analyze section. Strategy 4, but you are not done yet. Continue to fly higher and higher. Analyze, critique, and evaluate concepts and principles when solving problems. Don't judge other medical students, but judge one piece of knowledge against another perspective. Give an educated, evaluative opinion of what you are studying. What are you becoming? Answer that question and you are soaring with self-awareness, foundational concepts, principles, and knowledge. But you are not done yet. Space out repetition practices. Humble yourself and strive to create something new. Make your contribution. Create new problems, scenarios with multiple choice questions. Solve them without notes on a timer. Learn from your mistakes and teach students what you have gained. I say organize and recreate information. Enjoy your learning journey. Analyze. Take slow, rhythmic steps like the shape of the kashishi, online and in person. I hope you're still with me. Here we go. Stage 5. It's time to evaluate and create. If you are still stuck at the remember and understand game, find an academic advisor or learning coach. They can teach you how to manage time and handle anxiety. They can help you learn to fly higher. Yes, you can avoid getting lost in the learning savannah with roaring lions of frustration. You can evaluate and create. Students can stop writing passive and active notes. We need you. They need you to be strong like the Berimbau, to integrate learning strategies and optimize the healing potential in earning a medical degree. The time is now for all medical students to put down your notebooks and begin to teach and become the physicians our world needs. We need you. If you have an instrument, try to join me. If you don't have an instrument, just clap. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. These instruments were used because they're integral to the identities of all the presenters that you saw in the video today. I'm a practitioner of the martial art called capoeira, and it uses these instruments. It also has dance. I was going to do some dance and acrobatics for you, Mark said that'll probably get lost. So I'm just showing you that this is central to our identity, as well as you saw the Mbira, that's from Zimbabwe. You saw the Pandeiro, that's also part of capoeira. And you also saw the Agogô. All elements of capoeira, all central parts of our identity. If I tell my students that I want them to bring their identities into the classroom, then I have to represent that as well. And so that's what these instruments represent. That's what they're symbolic of. I hope that you're not like my wife. And at the end of this presentation, you understand that there's a connection. There's a connection between the use of musical instruments to serve as tools to help our students learn and master the content, not just for an exam, but to practice in the real world in those clinical settings that we know comes next. So there should be one more slide here that I click on with this button, and it just says thank you. Obrigado, graças, asante sana, thank you. Yeah, man, that's what we say in the Caribbean, all right? Respect. Any questions? question. There we go. Great.
It's just a very simple question, but just to understand if you actually integrated this into the curriculum.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if you saw in the last slide, there's some pictures from some presentations we've done on campus. Over the summer, we had about 40 children come in from the community, and we did a presentation. We used the musical instruments. I actually did do a backflip in front of the kids to get them excited about the topic. And just last week, we started with our first semester, and as a part of explaining learning strategies, I'll always bring in capoeira. I do some movements, I play the music, and I say that active reading goes beyond just being able to read something and do something, but it's really about embodying the text. It's really about making that text come alive. I say, hey, what are you in medicine for? And many students will look at me like, what do you mean? I'm here to help people. Okay. All right, the objective really is to help people stay alive. You gotta have something that emotionally connects your reasons for being in medical school. And I say that the reading of text, the objective, your first objective as a first semester student is to make that text come alive. Think of that text as your patient. And so I bring all this creative energy into the session to help them understand and make that connection.
Thank you. Then you have a question on the screen.
Question on the screen. Can traditional music of any kind improve the way medical students learn complex concepts? Absolutely. It's really, again, about bringing your identity to the classroom. We talk about belonging, we talk about inclusion, we talk about diversity. What does that mean if students can't bring aspects of their identity into the classroom and really embrace that? We are very linear thinkers in terms of science, but we have to embrace the power of creativity. And so bringing in instruments that reflect home, especially in a space like Antigua and Barbuda, where many of our students are coming from outside of the country, they need something that roots them in their sense of identity, their sense of belonging. So yes, traditional instruments can improve the way medical students learn very complex concepts because it creates that personal connection to the material. Let me do the one live, and then I'll do that other question.
I'm not that good at instruments. I'm a Mbira and a Can you see the idea in the knots and the...
That is the point of bringing these instruments into the classroom, is for students to really connect to something creative that resonates with them. Everybody can't play the instruments. Everybody can't do dance. Everybody can't do poetry. But there's something that you can do. Whatever that thing is, that's something you want to root in. We talk about anxiety. Students aren't making time for their hobbies anymore, right? So if you're in my class and you like to knit, I'm going to say, hey, before you do 10 multiple choice questions tonight, go ahead and knit something first. And while you're knitting, not only think about the connections between threads, but also think about what's the connection between biochemistry and neuroscience. Is there physiology in this? You know, when you're eating breakfast in the morning, what does that say, right? In terms of thinking about biochemistry. All right, so there's another question that says, have you used this with the rest of the faculty, and is there any resistance? I have used this. So I teach a class called Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion in Medical Education at the university. And I brought in these instruments, just like you see here, and had faculty play the instruments and talk about the importance of inclusion. So I have everybody form a circle with the exception of one person, well, I'll leave them out. And say, that person over there that's playing their own rhythm, that's exclusion. That's not what we want to have here at AMEE. The music, the creativity, the energy that you're providing within this circle, that's what we want. That's what we talk about when we're looking at diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. We want to build on our identities and see how we can connect. So music, yes, I've used it. Has there been any resistance to it? Not if you're in my workshop. I don't like you just to sit there. I won't let you do that. You got to participate. But it's worked. It's worked. It's worked. Some of us, have to take some time away and then come back to it later. But I know that the connection happens because I get evaluations and folks say, in fact, I got one right before I left here from the one I did an active reading strategy, and the person said, I just want to say you need a raise because that breakdancing and music stuff was incredible, right? So they may not remember all of the content, but there's something that resonates with them that now I've already broken that barrier so that they can come to me and we can dig deeper into these concepts. So it's a powerful, powerful tool. Okay, thank you.
Ja, det kommer. Wow!
Obrigado! Brasil!
Woo!